Okay, so I'm gonna go and talk to Sinatra Says about veganism. We'll see how this goes. We had a productive conversation last time, so, it was years ago, but I'm hoping the same thing can happen. Let's find out. Yo, what up,
Good to
Sinatra?
go. That's good. Hungover, I feel it.
You hear me okay? Hello, test one, two, three.
Oh, wait, I'm hearing something.
Well, the
It's very
thing,
quiet.
the thing you're hearing should
What's
be
this
me.
Discord turned down? Let's try that. Go ahead, speak.
Test one, two, three. Hello, hello.
Ah, there we go. I had Discord turned all the way down.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. How are you doing?
I am well. How are you?
I'm doing well. So just for context for everyone here, Sinatra is a YouTuber, put out a vegan video today. I badgered him a little bit, and he was very reasonable, decided to come by and have a conversation, which I appreciate, because of course he has no obligation to do that. So we're just going to have a little debate. You want to say anything before we get into it?
My video was about, and we're live on my channel right now.
Yep, I'm recording too.
My video was about a guy who got fired, and he said they fired him because he was a vegan. And so he's trying to turn veganism into a religion. And somehow that was not couth with you?
No, for me, it's just that I hear the general kind of way you talk about vegans, and I know that you're not vegan. Now, I will give you some credit. You do say things like, I'm not sure if this is representative of all vegans, but I just wanted to talk to you about your own ethics, the whether veganism qualifies
So
as a
you're trying to
religion.
tone police me.
Tone police? How would
Yeah,
that
you,
be
you
the
don't
case?
like my tone concerning vegans.
No, it's that your tone made me want to discuss your ethics with you. You can have whatever tone
Okay.
you want.
So we're gonna have a debate about ethics, the ethical religion of veganism. Let me get that. Is that it?
Well, if you want to call it a
Because
religion,
that's what the video's about, the ethical religion of veganism. It's what it says in the first 2 minutes of the video. It's the title of the article I'm responding to. So let's have a conversation about the ethical religion of veganism.
okay. Well, I guess let's just start out. So first of all, if we
And real
were
quick to what you just said. You said it's because I'm not a vegan, right? That's your main gripe, is that I don't live life the way you live it, so you have a problem with that?
Well, I think that veganism is a pretty reasonable position, and when I see someone who's not vegan, especially if they make anti-vegan content, I just become
It
curious.
wasn't anti-vegan content. It was anti that guy saying that he got fired because he was a vegan.
Okay, I'll take that correction. That's fine. But the point is, if you want to know what motivated me to talk to you, I think that humans aren't perfect at giving accounts of why they do anything, but the general description I'd give is just that I saw the video, struck me in a way that I don't like, and I went, that guy's not vegan. I wonder why. I'd like to talk to him about it. And I don't know if you recall this, but we actually had what I remember to be a pretty productive discussion about veganism, but it was a few years back now. I think it was in 2017. Do you remember
Yeah.
that?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess that I'll start with just a question or two. So if we were to replace the humans who are currently being the animals who are currently being holocausted with humans, would you consider that to be a morally wrong situation?
Okay, before we get into your question, and I will answer that,
Sure.
what is my position on veganism?
Something other than veganism, presumably.
So you don't know if I kind of agree with it. You don't know how I feel about factory farming. You don't know my position on it. Oh, shit. Hold on. Okay, yeah, I'm going to turn those off for right now. Sorry, I forgot those were on.
That's fine.
You don't know my position on it. You don't know where I stand, what my diet habits are. You don't know any of that. But you're going to assume that I am pro factory farming. You're going to assume that I'm pro X, Y, and Z concerning meat eating, correct?
Well, it started with a question for a reason, right? So I'm trying to establish what your position is. All I know right now is that your position isn't veganism. Unless I'm wrong about that, are you vegan?
No, I'm not a vegan.
Great. Okay,
I
so the
can't
first...
not eat dairy.
Okay, well, we can get into that. So, with respect to the first question, what would your answer be?
I think that's kind of a false equivalency, because if I said yes, that would be okay. That's not a good answer morally or any other way.
Sorry, let me ask you something. What do you mean by equivalency? I didn't even draw an equivalence. All I
Because
asked
humans are
was,
not animals.
right, I didn't make that statement. What I
Are
asked,
humans and animals peers?
wait, one
Are
second.
humans the same as
One
animals?
second, Sinatra. My question's on the table right now. If you want to ask questions, you have to answer them too, right? So the first question that's on the table right now is, if we were to replace the animals with humans, would you consider that ethical? Now, wait, you tried to reply
I
by saying
literally
there's
just said no.
Oh, okay, all right. So we have an answer. Now, the animal holocaust, is that something that's ethical?
I don't think factory farming is ethical at all.
Do you
I,
purchase the products of the animal holocaust?
Not really.
Oh, so you're vegan.
I buy eggs. I buy meat, and if I do buy meat, I try to go to like a Whole Food store. Sure, I pay a little bit extra, but it's always better.
Okay, now the meat that's in that Whole Food store, say that was human meat, would you buy that?
No.
Okay, but animal meat you would buy, correct? From the Whole Food store?
Obviously.
Okay, so what is it that's true of the animals that, if true of the humans, would cause you to have the same attitude towards them?
Animals are tasty.
Okay, so if humans taste good, you would consider it ethical to support a holocaust of humans? That's the position?
No, because
That's
humans can't eat human meat because of the pyrons in it.
Wait 1 second, that's a contradiction. So a second ago, you said that the trait that has to be changed in order for it to be ethical would be the taste. Now I equalize the taste, and then you say, wait, let me finish. Then I equalize the taste, and you say it wouldn't be ethical. So you've actually just...
No, I said it's not good for you to eat human meat.
Oh, okay, so it would be ethical or it wouldn't be ethical?
I don't know. I'm not an ethics person. I'm not here to debate ethics with you.
Oh, I'm here to debate ethics with you. So your position is...
Okay, so you're here to debate religion with me.
So your position is that you're uncertain whether it would be ethical to fund a holocaust of humans as long as you buy them at Whole Foods?
I don't know. Is your position trying to equate a proper diet with cannibalism?
Like sounds like you're dodging. Not to be rude, but like, don't we want to try to answer?
You're not letting me ask my questions.
Right, because you're... Well, wait.
I have a list of questions.
Wait, well, we can...
And these are the same questions you asked me last time.
One second. You're being very, like... You're trying to, like, chomp at the bit, right? We want to go systematically, right? So the first... I just want to walk you through the series of...
What you're trying to do is trying to get me to say, yes, I would do it this way, when no rational person would eat human meat over animal meat. That's silly.
I wasn't talking about over animal meat. So I'll walk you through the reasoning, okay? So I asked you some questions to start. I said, if it's a human holocaust, would you support it? You say no, right? You say if it's an animal holocaust, you would. Now I ask, what is it that's true of the animal, that if true of the human would cause you to support it? You say taste. I equalize the taste. You say you still wouldn't support it, so we derive a contradiction on the
No, I said human meat is not good for humans to eat.
Oh, okay. So if it's a human holocaust...
I think that's like the third time I've said that.
Let's be clear. If it's a human holocaust, is it ethical to support?
No.
No. Okay, great. So
I also said I don't support factory farming, so...
Right. So what is it that's true of the animal that, if true of the human, would cause it to be ethical?
True of the animal that, if true of the human, it would be ethical.
Right. And I'll grant you that maybe there is either I misspoke or you misheard, but if the answer is taste, and then you respond by saying I still wouldn't support the human holocaust even if it tasted good, then we'd get a contradiction. We'd get that it is and isn't the case that the trait difference that makes the moral trait that makes the moral difference is taste. That would be a contradiction.
All right. You've just shot like 4 questions at me, so let me just
drop
one. 4 at you.
There's one. There's a single.
That was 3 or 4.
No.
Let me just ask a couple
there's
of you.
1 second. Once you wait.
Do you support eating the bugs?
Sinatra, you're trying to dodge.
Do you support eating the bugs?
I'm not going to play that game, right? I have a question on the table. I expect an answer to it. Now, if we're talking...
I answered like 3 of your questions.
Right, so I'm not clear on your position. We're trying to figure that out. Now, we've got a human holocaust. You say it's not ethical to support. So the one question that's on the table, right, there's just one of them. The rest was just me leading you through the questions that led up to this. Those aren't questions I'm asking you right now.
They're questions.
The question that is on the table is, what is the trait true of animals that, if true of humans, would cause you to say that's ethical?
Sentience.
They're both sentient, so that's not a differential property.
Animals are not sentient. They just kind of exist.
You take the position that animals...
They eat, reproduce, repeat. That's what they do.
Wait, what do you think sentience is?
A consciousness.
You think animals don't have consciousness?
Not the same way humans do.
Oh, now it's not the same. Right. I don't think they have the same consciousness, but are you saying they don't have consciousness?
All right, my turn to ask a question.
You're
because
dodging.
You're just
No,
going
you're
down
dodging.
the same thing.
You're dodging.
I'm just going to ask you simple yes or no questions.
Sinatra, you
You're
don't get to.
asking
No, you
questions
don't. You don't get to. You don't get to weasel. You don't get to weasel. You don't get to weasel out of the corner.
I can talk over you just as much as you
no.
can.
Well, then it'll just end
lead me
like
down
this, right?
primrose path.
Yep, I'm trying to lead you down a very clear path. I want to understand what the trait difference is.
Yes or no questions.
I want to understand what the trait difference is.
This is a very productive conversation.
Well, 1 second. You're the one making it like that.
First off, it's
wait. You've given two answers. You've given two answers. The first answer that you gave was taste, which produced a contradiction, but I'll admit that maybe we had a miscommunication. Now, the second answer is sentience, but it doesn't sound like you're actually taking the position that one is sentient and the other isn't. It just sounds like you're saying their sentience is different, right? Now, if they're both sentient, sentience isn't the differential property. So are you actually taking the position that animals aren't sentient?
Animals do not have the same consciousness as humans.
Great. Do you think that was an answer? If I ask you, Sinatra, if I ask you, do you have a car, and you say, I don't have the same car as Bob, do you think that's an answer?
No.
Right. Okay. So are animals sentient?
Not like humans are. No.
Oh, right. You don't have the same car as Bob. You don't have the same car as Bob. Does that tell me if you have a car?
That's like saying, does South Africa have drinking water?
Right. I'll explain.
Have water, but it's not clean drinking water.
I'll explain the analogy. Okay. If I ask you, does X have Y? And you say X doesn't have the same Y as Z, you're not telling me if X has Y.
That's the point.
Right. So I'm asking. If the point is to dodge. Well, what I'm asking
I'm telling you, it's not the same thing.
I'm not asking if it's the same thing.
Animals
I'm asking.
have consciousness in the
Great.
That they're alive.
Wait a second. If they have consciousness, then you can't name consciousness as the trait because it's not a differential property. So that takes us back to the prior question: what's true of animals that, if true of humans, would justify holocausting them?
Well, we're gonna need a fucking person who is versed in this kind of thing more than I am to answer that question. But you literally won't let me ask you.
Wait. Yes. The reason why is because I'm trying to get answers on my line of questioning.
I tried not to do this.
If you want to ask,
if you want to, this guy is literally debating
if you want to ask, no, I don't advocate theocracy. If you want to ask questions, if you want to ask questions after the line of questioning, that's fine. But right now you're trying to derail. No, it's all one line of questioning. I'll explain it to you. Right? I asked, is it ethical to murder humans? You say no. Is it ethical to murder animals? Yes, if you buy them at Whole Foods, right? So I'm asking, what is it that's true of the human that if true of the animal that if true of the human would justify killing them in that way? Now, the first answer was taste. That produced a contradiction. You wouldn't kill humans if they tasted good. The second answer was sentience. But upon pushing you, right, I had to push a bunch because you were trying real hard to weasel off that. You grant that they're both sentient, so that can't be the differential property.
Your definition of sentience. That you think that the animal
conscious
give me your definition of it.
Conscious, having subjective experience, being like something to be that thing.
So yours is just as subjective as mine is.
That's just the definition. Yeah, the definition is consciousness. Right, and you grant that animals have consciousness, correct?
Yeah, consciousness is not sentience.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I'm not sure what you take the difference to be there.
Well, is a person who's brain dead sentient?
Do they have a subjective experience?
Are they sentient? Yes or no?
Well, it depends if they have a subjective experience. That's what I take it to mean. If they have a subjective experience, yes. If they don't know, I don't know what's going on in the mind of a brain dead person.
But they're not conscious. You can agree to that, right?
I take consciousness and sentience to mean the same thing, which is having a subjective experience. If a brain dead person has a subjective experience, I'd say they're conscious, I'd say they're sentient. If they don't, I'd say they're not conscious and they're not sentient.
Going by your definition, eating plants is just as bad as eating animals because they have subjective experiences too.
I don't see any argument that plants have subjective experiences, but you're trying very Sinatra, you can't
just as much as animals.
You can't think that what you're doing right now is honest, right? I ask you a line of questioning and I push you into
you're the one not being honest.
Right. So how about replying? Yeah, it's all one line of questioning, right? And I pushed you into a corner and now you're trying to weasel off with plant sentience, right?
They absolutely have.
Sinatra, you took 2 jabs at naming the trait, right? The first produced a contradiction, taste, right? You wouldn't kill tasty humans. The second isn't even a trait because it's not a differential property. They both have it. They're both conscious. So what is it that's true of this is like 5th time now, true of animals that if true of humans would justify murdering them and buying their corpses at Whole Foods?
What's the difference in
You're asking a
plants and
question.
animals in
You're
that?
asking a question instead of answering a question.
I'm asking you the same question you're asking me.
No,
to
I
show
would
you
like,
how fucking
if you
retarded-
want to ask me questions after you produce answers, that's fine. So how about
Okay.
answering the
You
question?
realize that you came to me, right?
I don't.
that this was all
Sinatra,
your
I'm
idea.
not entertaining
you
your
came to me.
derails. Look, do you want to answer the question? If you want to dodge, just leave. Right? I'm asking you a question. Do you want to answer it or not?
You came to me.
I
and I'm
think
asking-
anyone who watches this debate right now will see you trying twice to answer name the trait, the first time contradicting yourself, and the second time naming a property that's not differential. You have not given me a clear answer to my question.
I named
and
it
anyone
sentience.
Right, that's not a differential property,
How many
though, is
times
it?
have I said sentience?
Great. Do you think animals have subjective experience?
No, not really.
You think
They kind of just
you think
reproduce, repeat.
you think plants have subjective experience and
They
animals
have
don't?
as much as animals do.
So so do animals have a subjective experience?
They have as much of an experience as animals do.
Do you
Plants
think
and
that that's
animals
an
literally
answer?
react to their environment.
Look, dude,
They don't innovate anyway.
it's just a yes or no, and you answered yes before, right? Do you think that animals have sentience? It's subjective experience,
They
consciousness.
have consciousness, not sentience.
Right. I'm using the words interchangeably. Okay, we're just talking about subjective
Yeah,
experience.
you are. I'm not.
Oh, okay. So what do you think you mean then when you say consciousness or sentience?
They are conscious in the way that they are alive. They move. They eat.
No,
they
I'm asking
shit,
for a
they
definition.
reproduce.
I'm asking for a definition. When you say, look, you're saying
I'm literally giving my definition.
Sinatra.
I want a
Sinatra.
definition. I want a definition.
Oh no,
now,
you're
damn it.
giving an example, not a definition. There's a difference. Okay, I'm asking. Right, we're trying to get an answer to name the trait. First answer produced a contradiction. The second was sentience. Now it seems to me like that's not a differential property, but if you have some definition by which it is a differential property, I'd like to hear the definition. So why don't you define sentience such that I can understand how humans have it and animals don't?
The ability to create and innovate.
Now,
if I had to pin it on one thing.
Now, do you think, this is just a side point, I'll still deal with that proprietary definition of sentience. Do you think that if we look in a single dictionary that we're going to find that as a definition of sentience? The ability to create and innovate?
You could.
Oh, okay, sure, go do it. Let's see. I'll wait. No, go for it. Go to the dictionary.
Okay, you see, this is what he's doing.
Yeah,
he wants to railroad me with question after question.
No, I'm just pointing out a proprietary
answer. Then he asks another question. on top of that.
No, Sinatra.
He's not even letting me answer
no.
one
I was
thing
very
and
I
move
was
on from
I
it.
was very
He's
reasonable
not even
with you.
letting me ask him
Sinatra.
one question
Oh my
when
god.
he's the one who came.
You are the last time I talked to you, you were not dishonest like this. What is going on with you?
How is this dishonesty?
What's
I'll
tell you what's dishonest about
tell
it,
me,
right?
please.
Yeah, okay. So what I'm trying to understand, right, is
You're trying to get me into a theological debate. That's
no,
exactly what
it's
you're doing.
theology.
That's
is
the
oh
whole
my
reason you came to
God.
me.
That's just
fucking
that's
shitbag.
just a throwaway statement. Sinatra, call me whatever you want. People are gonna laugh at you after this debate if you keep doing this. Okay?
Yes,
now
I am
look.
sure.
The question was just, what is it that's true of humans that true of animals that if true of humans would justify buying their corpses at Whole Food? The first answer was taste. That produced a contradiction. You wouldn't kill tasty humans, okay? The second was sentience. Now, I don't take that to be a differential property. That seems like something they both have, which would mean that if you answer with it, when I ask what's true of one but not of the other, if you answer with something that's true of both, it's a category error. It's not something that's in the category, true of one and not the other. Now, if the weasel move to get out of that is to use a proprietary, that means a personal definition of sentience that's not in any dictionary, which you started derailing from the second I pointed that out, by the way. That was hilarious, right? If the pathway is to use a weasel definition of sentience where you say, oh, it's about the ability to create, I'm happy to still run the argument and show you where that leads with the ability to create. But just a little side point that I wish you'd acknowledge, that's a proprietary definition. That's not in any dictionary. Would you grant that?
Are you willing to eat the bugs?
Would you grant that or not?
I did not listen to a word you just said.
Great. So I'll walk you through it again. I'll walk you through it again.
Are you okay with eating the bugs?
The question.
Will you eat the bugs? Just a yes or no. That's a yes or no question.
The question that we're.
It's a simple yes or no. I answered like 7 of your questions.
The question that we're.
Answer one.
No, you, Sinatra, you've been consistently. You keep dodging the line of questioning. Do you, Sinatra, do you think that I understand what your fucking answer is? Listen,
Answer the question. Do you eat the bugs?
Sinatra, you're derailing. I will not humor a derail. You will never get me to humor a derail. You can ask your questions after we complete this line of questioning. If you wanted to be questioner, you should have started out with a question. No, Sinatra, I will not humor any derails. I will not humor any derails.
If you're not going to answer the question.
Oh, no, I think that you underestimate my patience. I will continue asking you the same line of questioning until you either produce an answer, at which point you can then ask your questions, or you leave, right? So what I've asked you is, what is it that's true of animals that, if true of humans, would justify buying their corpses at Whole Foods? Mine. Now, the first answer that you provided was taste, which produced a contradiction, right? You wouldn't kill tasty humans. The second answer that you provided was sentience. Now, I'm happy to go with your proprietary definition of sentience, where it means something about creativity. We'll continue down that line of reasoning. But before we go down there, I just want you to
answer the question.
But before we go down there,
I will answer whatever you want to ask me.
But before we go down there, what I want you to do is just either point to a dictionary that uses that definition, or point to a dictionary that uses that definition, right? And then I'll just grant it. I'll say, oh, okay, it isn't a proprietary definition, or just admit that it's a proprietary definition, and then we can continue with the reasoning.
I told you it's my definition that I just pulled out of thin air.
Okay, all right. So it's and you'd agree it's not in any dictionary.
He's scared. End the debate. This is so childish.
You'd agree it's not in any dictionary.
The question,
you'd agree it's not in any dictionary.
I don't know. I'm not a dictionary. I can't tell you what's in the dictionary.
Right. So why don't you just grant that you have no idea if your definition okay, wait. So in fact, you are granting that, right?
So you mean the thing I said?
So
wow,
when
you really are a smart guy.
When you put forward the definition of sentience as like the ability to create or something like that, you acknowledge that's your definition, and you have no reason to believe that's in any like here, I'll just go bring up some dictionaries, right? If we find a definition like that, I'm happy to grant it to you, but I just don't think you're going to find that.
It's not a debate. Yeah, no,
sentience
but for this
definition.
Guy, he's asked like 8 questions, but he won't answer one simple one from me.
Feeling or sensation as distinguished from perception or thought, right? The kind of definition that, most people would use, a sentient quality or state, not seeing anything about creativity. A sentient
quality like innovating, creating.
No. What we're talking about with sentience, look, if you want to use a proprietary definition, that's fine. But can you point me to any Can you point me to any dictionary that actually uses your definition?
No, because I'm not doing that right now.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's that's fine. Yes, now that you've said no, we'll go back to the line of questioning, right? So now,
okay, so
now the question is,
why would you invite me to a debate? Why would you initiate a conversation knowing you're going to act like this? Is this why all of your videos have like a 60% like rating on them?
Now, the question is, given that definition, the ability to create, if we have a human who can't create, like let's say a disabled person, do you think it's ethical to buy their corpse at Whole Foods?
What? I'm not listening to you at all.
Okay,
you're so monotone and boring.
Let me add some vibrancy to my voice. If we have a human who doesn't have your definition that's proprietary of sentience, so that human can't, engage in creative activity to any greater degree than an animal, like let's say a disabled person, do you think that it's ethical to buy their corpse at Whole Foods? Was that better?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you take the position that it's ethical to buy the corpses of disabled people at Whole Foods. It's fine to
Absolutely.
Right. So you accept the disabled Holocaust?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now I'd take that as reductio. Would you like to ask any questions?
Will you eat the bugs?
I wouldn't eat bugs. No.
No, you wouldn't?
No.
So what makes you want to be a vegan?
My preferences.
Just because you feel like it?
Yeah. I mean, I take that to be what morality is.
Okay. So that is your subjective morality.
Yeah, I'm a subjectivist.
To be a vegan.
Wait, are you a moral realist?
No, I'm just asking.
Oh, great. So you're a subjectivist also.
No, I'm asking you, is that your subjective take on moralism? that being a vegan makes you a better person for it.
And just for, I will answer that, but just for anyone who thinks that I said
no, that's not a gotcha.
One second. The quick answer is yes, but just for anyone who thinks that I made a bad inference there, because there's some people who are philosophically intense who watch this stuff. Obviously, when he says he's a realist, it doesn't. If he's not a realist, it doesn't follow he's a subjectivist. He could be some other kind of anti-realist. Of course, I understand that. So yeah, it's my subjective understanding of morality. Yeah, I'm a subjectivist. What's the question you want to ask from there? And also, I just want to point out that I was more than happy, as I am doing now, to answer all of your questions. I just wanted you to complete the line of reasoning without weaseling. Right. Okay. So do you have any others? You can ask as many as you want.
I actually have a list here.
Sure. Hit me.
Because, so you and I think we can get back onto a base where we agree on something. We're both anti-factory farming, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you get involved with that legislatively or anything like that?
No, I'm not involved in any legal stuff.
You don't, like, pass out petitions for that kind of shit? Nothing like that?
No, I'm not involved in any, like, legal kind of stuff.
Okay. Do you ever debate people who eat meat from, like, China or anything like that? Like, because they have those festivals where they kill dogs and eat them right there.
I don't know if I've ever debated anyone from China, to be totally honest. I'm really not sure.
I'm just curious because me dealing with a guy who said he got fired because he was a vegan seems a little less on the priority board than, I don't know, just a thought.
On the priority board, then. Yeah, no. I mean,
at the festival where they kill and eat dogs in China.
Oh, are you just saying, like, from a kind of like a utilitarian point of view, like there's things that would have a bigger impact to deal with than talking to you?
Yeah, that's why I asked about
Yeah, I'd probably grant that. I'd probably grant that.
Do you think that there is an ethical way to get dairy that does not involve factory farming?
I mean, theoretically, you can always find a way to do anything, pretty much anything, ethically. So yeah, I would assume so.
So would you eat dairy if it was ethical?
I think that I would be, personally, a bit grossed out, but I wouldn't say that there's a moral problem with it. So I wouldn't, but I wouldn't morally condemn it, if that's kind of what you're asking.
Okay, let me just tack a note in here real quick. Okay, do you agree with AOC on the fact that she thinks farting cows are killing the planet?
Honestly, I don't know a whole lot about the climate aspect, so I'm not sure how much of it is like cow farts or how much is, the other aspects of what we're doing with animals. So I don't have a strong view there.
All right, that was my next question is this a moral or a climate thing? Because I know a big thing with vegans and vegetarians is that it's climate related.
Well, I wouldn't see that necessarily as a separate category. That's kind of like asking, like, if this is a Volvo thing or a car thing. It's like a Volvo is a car. So from my point of view, the climate is, a moral issue. And yeah, I do have some level of concern for the climate, but no, from my point of view, it's primarily an ethical sort of thing focused on, what we're actually doing to the being. Even if the climate impact was just neutral, I would still be opposed to it.
All right. So I guess the main point of this was my video about a guy who was fired from his job.
Can I say something? I just want to say, for me, the main point is not your video, but please continue.
Well, that's what got you to contact me.
It is. You're right, but as I said carefully in text, I'm not looking to debate you about the video. I just want to talk to you about the ethics of veganism. You ended up saying it's okay to Holocaust the disabled, right? And it's the reason I do these things, for the record, is just to show that people like you, who, have these big platforms and put out what is at least kind of somewhat anti-vegan content, like, I'll grant you're not as bad as some, when they actually have their views examined, they just say insane shit. So that's, like, my main purpose there.
All right, so you purposely go after people with a large platform to get your vegan message out there?
That is part of what I do, yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. You're just a fucking number chaser. All right.
Well, wait, what's the negativity there about wanting to get out to as many people as I can?
No, you just want to use other people's platforms instead of building one for yourself.
Sinatra, did I host you on my channel when I had more subs than you?
Yeah, but not by much.
Yeah,
you had like 18 and I had 15.
But just to be
not that big of a deal.
But okay.
And you still have 18 and I have 180. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm happy to acknowledge when someone does better on YouTube. Good for you for doing well, honestly. But the point I was making there is just that it's not as if the only thing I care about here is the number of views that the person I'm talking to has, right? I'll talk to people who have smaller platforms than I do. Just saying.
But no, you literally just said you go after people purposely with a bigger platform.
That is one of the things that I do, but that doesn't mean that I'll exclusively talk to people with bigger platforms.
I don't know about that. Your fucking Twitter profile says that you're like boasting that Devin Tracy won't talk to you.
Oh yeah, Devin is horrified to debate me.
Yeah, I'm sure he's very scared.
Well, he knows that I'll wreck him just like I wrecked you, right? You ended up saying it's fine to Holocaust the disabled. You think people are going to agree with that?
Yeah, I think people will agree with that when they hear the line of questioning, because they know you're on their list.
Oh, okay. All right. Nice insult. Did you have any other questions? You said you had a list. If you had more.
I do. I have one more big question.
Sure.
So a lot of this that you've been talking about, you've been saying it's my moral reasoning, my subjective opinion on this, how I feel about this.
Sorry, I need to ask. Sorry, I need to understand. I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. When you say "my," are you referring to you or are you referring to me?
You said it.
Okay. Yeah. I'm saying it's my. This is about my subjective reasoning, like me, yes. Isaac. Okay.
Yeah, like you. I feel this is my moral thing, so I feel good about this. I don't do this because of my morality, and having the understanding that morality is objective.
Wait. That was a misunderstanding there. I don't think morality is objective, unless you mean something very.
Oh, did I say objective? I meant subjective.
Yeah, I'm a subjectivist. Yeah.
Okay.
You're a subjectivist, right? Or some kind of anti-realist?
Yeah, no, I think everyone's morality is subjective.
Right. Okay.
So all of this, understanding that, you still think other people are wrong for not following your subjective morality.
They're wrong with respect to my subjective morality. They're not wrong with respect to some, external objective standard, because I don't think there is such a thing. As I've said, I'm not a realist.
So why is somebody else wrong in your eyes for not following your moral subjectiveness?
The same reason that I take anyone to be wrong in any situation with respect to anyone else's system, which is that it doesn't accord with my preferences. I think that's what you mean also when you say someone's morally wrong. Like when you say, ISIS is wrong for cutting off that kid's head. What I take that to ultimately cash out in, if we get to the meta-ethical level, is you're saying that does not accord with my preferences. Unless you take some other interpretation, do you think it means something else?
No, I think there are some things that are objectively wrong. But
okay,
I don't think
like what?
Your diet is one of them.
Well, do you want to hash that for a minute? Because I'm not a moral realist, and you've just contradicted yourself. You said you were a subjectivist, and now you've said that you're a realist.
I think it's pretty objectively wrong to molest kids. I think anyone would agree to that.
Okay, so you are an objectivist. You're not a moral subjectivist. Just acknowledge the contradiction. That's fine, and then we can talk about that.
Are you really going to argue with me on the morality of molesting kids? Holy fuck.
I think
you should try to disappear after that. That's fucking.
What I'm arguing with you about is the meta ethics, what it means to say any given thing is wrong, right? I'm not disagreeing with your preference against molesting kids. I have the same preference, so that would be a really cringy cheap shot to try to take, right? I agree with the preference. Well, we're talking about the meta ethics. It's like
you try to say I'm okay with holocausting people, so
right.
I am pretty.
I didn't
shot back at you.
Hey, I didn't say
about me insulting you.
Wait,
meanwhile,
1 second.
You leveled
1 second.
9 against me.
You're
pretty much just coming across like a hypocritical douchebag.
Wait. There's a few things.
People
okay.
Wait.
Stop. Okay. Come on. Wait. No. 1 second.
People like
1
you
second.
Are the
1 second. No. Wait. 1 second. Okay. So first of all, I don't have a problem with insults one way or the other, right? So.
Then why did you complain when I insulted you?
I think I just said something like nice insult. I don't think it's really a complaint.
Were complaining.
Okay. Well, if you take that as a complaint, then okay. But I mean, I don't really think it was a complaint. Okay, and then the other thing was, the contradiction, right? So in addition to the earlier contradiction we got on, taste, right? Now it seems like you're contradicting yourself about your meta-ethics. You said you were a subjectivist, but now you're saying you're an objectivist, right?
No,
so
I'm saying there are some things that are objectively morally deplorable.
Right, so you're an objectivist.
I think everyone in the world who doesn't fuck kids can agree that fucking kids is morally, objectively wrong.
How about all of the philosophers who aren't realists and still think it's wrong to fuck a kid? They think it's wrong not objectively, but with respect to, some subjective system or the preferences, something like this. Right? So
what?
I said, what about all the philosophers who aren't realists but still have a problem with fucking kids?
I'm not talking about philosophers, I'm talking about you.
Okay, well, when you said that
do Do you only get your opinions from books? I'm trying to talk to you.
Look, do you think that you gave me an answer? Look, when we talk, I just want to be clear. Okay, you said you were a subjectivist earlier. Now you're saying there is
No. It's my turn to ask the questions, and you gave me this 20-minute gish gallop of this.
It wasn't a gish gallop. There's always a single question on the table.
Answer the question.
What's the question?
Is it objectively wrong to fuck kids?
No, I consider it subjectively wrong. I'm a subjectivist. Like you said you were until you contradicted yourself. Now, I'd like to ask a question about that, if that's okay. Right? So,
all right, go ahead.
Okay, so you said you're a subjectivist, but then you said that there's at least one thing that's objectively wrong, which means you're not a subjectivist. So which is it?
I think it's morally, objectively wrong to fuck kids.
Okay, so
you realize life has...
So you're an objectivist, right?
On that one specific issue, yeah.
Okay, all right, okay, that's fine. So
why aren't you fitting into this little box I made for you, Sinatra? What the fuck?
Well, no, it's just the box is just the box of not contradicting yourself, right? I assume you want to be in that box. I'd like to. Okay,
yeah, you're cutting out.
I said the box is just the box of not contradicting yourself. I assume you want to be in it. I'd like to be in it. You know, call me crazy.
I don't understand. I guess
okay. I don't. Okay, well, do you understand it's a contradiction to say that I'm a subjectivist and I'm an objectivist? Because being a subjectivist entails not being an objectivist. And
you realize life is not black and white. You are not one thing or the other. You are not this or you are not that. You can be one thing and still feel a certain way about another thing.
Are you a dialectist?
I don't even know what the fuck.
Do you think there are true contradictions?
Okay, so
Sinatra, you're humiliating yourself.
I got a good question out of my chat right now.
Look, are
you okay with other people fucking little kids? So it's morally wrong to you, but you don't find it objectively wrong. So are you okay with somebody else fucking kids?
When you ask, I'm going to answer. When you ask, am I okay? You're asking about my preferences. Of course I'm not.
So you're objectively against that?
No, I am...
Under no circumstances is it okay to fuck kids. Correct or incorrect?
Wait, under no circumstances? That sounds like universalism, not objectivism. So that's...
Yeah, universally, it's not okay to fuck kids.
From my perspective? Are you asking me about my own perspective? If so, yes. I assume it's fine from the perspective of a child fucker.
So... And do you disagree with that child fucker?
What do you think, Sinatra? I'll take a wild guess. Yeah, wow, bravo. Yeah, correct.
Fuck, my stream dropped.
That's okay, take your time. You know, I understand you. I understand you think I'm some horrible guy. Like, I would just like to level with you for a second. We had a productive conversation last time. I don't know why it's got to be so fucking... Why is it so gnarly? Like...
Because you didn't come at me like a fucking douchebag last time. Throwing a fit because I said I'm a busy person. I don't have time to debate you. Fucking as soon as you say it.
No, I don't really think I threw a fit. I was kind of joking when I said...
No, you threw a fit. You said, okay, if you're not going to debate, you're dodging. So if I didn't debate you as soon as you said it, I'd be dodging you. So you threw a fit. You got on the channel. Good for you.
Well, first of all, I didn't ask to be on your channel. I asked you to come by the Discord, and I can't remember the exact words of the conversation. I think there was something you did in there that I said was dodging, though, yeah? But whatever. I mean, if you call that having a fit. So, okay. But just to be clear, now I want to grill you for a second about your meta-ethics. You can bring up whatever damning quote you have. When you say that it's objectively wrong to fuck a kid, what do you think you mean? What does it mean for something to be objectively morally wrong?
Under no circumstances is it okay to fuck a kid.
Okay, so all you mean is that it's universally wrong. You don't mean... So when you... Okay, just be clear.
No matter what, no exception to the rule, zero, absolutely nothing. Is there any remote circumstance where it's even kind of okay to fuck a kid? That's exactly what I mean.
Now, so there's two things I want to say. The first is a reductio. If there's going to be infinite holocaust of infinite people, I think it's ethical to fuck a kid if that prevents it, just for the record. So I don't agree that it's universally wrong. But I'm not clear if you're saying it's universally wrong or objectively wrong. So just to be clear, What do you mean when you say wrong? What does wrong mean to you? Because I just take wrong as a subjectivist to mean not in accord with my preferences. What do you take it to mean?
Not okay, not good. Don't do it.
Right, but
Bad.
those sound like synonyms. What does okay, bad? What do those things ultimately mean? What's it mean for something to be
What
bad?
does bad mean? That's
Yeah.
what you're asking me.
Right, that's a serious question that a meta-ethicist would ask. Correct. Yeah, what's it mean for something to be bad?
Are you a meta-ethicist?
I'm concerned with questions in meta-ethics. I'm not a professional philosopher, so I'd never call myself something like that because it would be pretentious.
I can't believe I'm about to pull a Sargon, and I'm going to tell you, dude, you're not as smart as you think you are. I've been asking you very simple questions, and you go, well, no, it's not this. It's this. Why aren't you answering my question?
One second.
You are physically incapable of having a conversation like a normal human being.
Well,
this shit is rotting your brain.
You can say that if you want, but I think that I've been very systematic. So when I wasn't letting you ask questions earlier, it's because you were trying to derail from my line of questioning. Once I completed my line of questioning, I let you ask all the questions that you wanted, and I answered all of them, right? And now I'm asking you a completely reasonable question about meta-ethics because you're doing something that to anyone who actually knows the territory of ethics, roughly, it looks really silly, right? You're trying to dunk on me with, well, you don't think it's objectively wrong to fuck a kid, right? As if maybe I think it's... Stop, come on, let me finish the sentence. As if maybe I think it's okay to fuck a kid. Of course I don't think it's okay to fuck a kid. But when you say it's objectively wrong, you're taking a meta-ethical position. You're becoming a moral objectivist, right? So I'm just trying to understand... What do you actually think wrongness is? Now, when you say, "Oh, they're like," what?
That depends. What is? You realize how fucking insane you sound?
You don't think that it's reasonable to ask what a word like "bad" actually means? What does it mean?
What does bad mean?
Yeah, I take it to mean not in accord.
Do you not know?
Oh, no, I have a clear understanding. From my perspective, it means not in accord with my preferences. I'm a subjectivist. What the fuck does it mean to you? That's the question.
It means not good. Don't do...
Okay, and what does not good mean?
Okay, so you're... Whatever I say,
well, no,
you're immediately going to go, and what does that mean?
No, if you give me something I understand, then I would not do that.
Do you not understand what not good means? This is pretty simple shit.
When you tell me that it cashes out as something other than not in accord with my preferences, no, I don't know what it means. It's a completely legitimate meta-ethical question, and it seems like you can't answer it. You wanted to go for a dunk cheap shot, right? Oh, ask yourself thinks...
I have no idea what you're even asking me.
Ask yourself thinks that it's okay to fuck kids. Obviously, I don't think it's okay to fuck kids.
Did I say that?
No, but you're kind of going...
Did I say that?
I already said no.
Did I say that?
I already said...
No.
So
there you go.
Right.
There's your answer.
But Sinatra...
So I didn't say it. I didn't mean it. If I thought so, I would say, guys, listen, he's saying it's not morally wrong to fuck kids.
Sinatra,
I didn't do that, so...
Yeah, but what you said was something along the lines of like, what, you don't think it's wrong to fuck a kid? Right? As if because I don't agree that it's objectively wrong, maybe I don't think it's wrong. That felt like the implication to me. Now, I'm just asking you.
Dude, I think lack of fucking meat is rotting your brain because we're having a pretty clear conversation here. And you go, I don't understand. I have no idea what's happening.
If you tell me that bad means it doesn't cash out in subjectivist terms, right? It doesn't mean, oh, not in accord with your preferences, then I don't know what it means. What does bad mean to you?
What does mean?
So here's an answer that a realist could give. A realist could say that it means it's not in accord with some kind of objective feature of the universe, right? Well, and then I'd ask what that feature is.
What?
Oh, I have no fucking idea. I don't think realism makes any sense, which is why I'm asking you about it. Right? What do you think it means to say something is bad if it doesn't cash out in terms of preferences?
Well, Are you saying that there are things in the universe that are not objective?
Yeah. Do you think love is objective?
No, but I think math and science are pretty objective.
Yeah, but you asked me
there
if I think...
There are things in the universe.
Right, so we agree. There's things that are objective and things that are subjective. Now, you're saying one of the things that is objective...
Morals are one of the things that are subjective.
But you contradict that, and you say that sometimes it's not the case. Some things are objectively wrong, right, Sinatra?
Yeah, fucking kids is wrong, no matter what.
No matter, as in it's objectively wrong? Like the statement that contradicts, it's subjective, everything's subjective? All morality is subjective?
You can take that however you want it to
Oh, I
mean.
take it as a contradiction. Do
Well,
you
I
do
think
you do you not agree that if morality is subjective and objective, that's a contradiction?
dude, I
Look.
think morality is completely subjective.
Oh, okay. So it
And
is subjectively wrong to
people
fuck a kid.
choosing not to eat meat is subjective.
Right.
Whether it's their morals, their
Right.
taste, or just their
And
diet, that is subjective to them.
okay, and fucking a kid is subjectively wrong, not objectively wrong, right?
There is no circumstance where it would be okay to fuck a kid.
Is it objectively wrong? That's a yes or no question, Sinatra.
Uh,
You
to
you can
me,
you can
to me,
back off
yeah.
of the position. Oh, okay. So it with objectively wrong, then what does wrong mean there?
It means okay. I'll go with you as you are putting this in the theological realm. It is against the laws of God.
The laws of God. Oh,
Yeah, since we're
okay.
arguing fucking
Oh,
theocracy
okay.
here.
Okay. Are you actually a theist or are you memeing right now? Because that would be an answer that I would accept if are you actually a theist?
Uh, 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 hmm. I would like to say yes.
Right. Okay. So then I'm gonna ask you for the argument for theism.
But see, that's where I don't have one. I believe in
And
a God, but I don't know if it's the
and
God.
and also, if I don't even know if that's really going to get you to objectivism, because if something is wrong because it's out of accord with God's preferences, it still sounds kind of like subjectivism.
Oh, that's a good point. If God is Mother Nature, you probably ate her.
I don't really know if I understand that, but so your answer when you say that something is objectively wrong, what you mean by wrong there is that it's out of accord with God's preferences. Now, there's a line of attack I could take where I say that's still a kind of subjectivism, but instead of going down that road, I think that a more productive road would be just to ask for the argument for theism. So, what exactly is the argument for theism?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I am
Right,
not a theist. I'm
right.
not a scholar. I'm not even a particularly deep thinker.
Okay, so when you say something's objectively wrong, all you mean is that it's not in line with the laws of some being that you can't establish exist. Correct?
Sure.
Okay. And did you have any other questions that you wanted to ask?
Uh, so you watched my video, correct?
I did, yeah.
You did? So do you think veganism should be a religion? Do you think it should be a protected class?
I've never really thought about that. I don't actually have an opinion, to be honest. I think that vegans do deal with some level of discrimination. Like, I think that, I mean, just to put it into perspective, right? If you're, for example, like a trans person and you sit down at a table, I think that you are substantially less likely to get made fun of for being trans than a vegan is for being vegan if they sit down at the same table, just to give an idea of what the discrimination level is like. So, you know, the discrimination.
So you think vegans are more discriminated against than trans people?
I think that the ease with which people discriminate is stronger, but I think it's. I mean, I wouldn't say that discrimination is as harmful. I mean, I don't have particularly strong views about it though, so I don't know how much there is for you to dunk on there. Like, I don't know if it should qualify as a protected class or not. I don't really have a position on that.
Okay, so back to the main question that I don't think you answered.
Sure.
I don't remember. Uh, why is it morally okay for you to be, yes, don't eat meat, that's fine, because it's your subjective morality, and nobody gives a shit. I certainly don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck what people eat. And I don't make fun of, well, I don't go after them for it. I don't go after someone simply for being a vegan. Why is that okay? But you cannot hold yourself to the same standard when you're around people who do eat meat.
Sorry,
Because that's what this was. You came at me because I am not a vegan. You're pretty much being like one of those 1950 Christians who are going after people for not being a Christian. That's pretty much what you're doing.
Sorry, I don't know. I don't understand what the question is. What's the question?
Why is it under your moral subjectivism, like you said, why is it okay to go after people for not being a vegan, but not okay to be gone after for being a vegan?
Not okay to be gone after for being a vegan. I don't know if I'd even
Because
say
really what it
I-
comes
I-
down to is
I-
dietary choice.
I don't.
You
actually,
just said vegans are discriminated
I
against.
think
So.
I think that question's actually loaded because I mean maybe not intentionally, but I don't necessarily think it's wrong to go after vegans. I mean I have these conversations to try to clear those types of things up, right? So I think that the question's a bit loaded, so I don't think I could really give an answer to that.
Okay, but answer the question.
Well, the question assumes that I think that it's wrong to go after vegans.
Well,
but I don't.
you do. You just said they're discriminated against, so.
I don't necessarily think that it's wrong to go after vegans. Like, what does it mean to go after vegans? To raise, like, some objections to what vegans are doing? I don't think that's wrong. Like, if I ask you a question, and I'm not actually asking right now, but if I say something like, when did you stop beating your wife? You'd have to say, I can't answer that because that question assumes I beat my wife.
That is not the same thing as what I asked you, is it?
No. The thing that is the same is that it's loaded because the question assumes something that I don't actually accept, right? So, like, that question assumes that you...
Why did you say
come
it?
on,
Why are you
come on,
contradicting
come
yourself?
on. Like, that question assumes that you beat your wife. This question assumes that I have some kind of problem with, like, raising issues with vegans, but I don't.
So it's okay to target vegans just because they're vegans?
It depends what you mean by target. If you mean, like, reasonable criticism or something, then sure.
No, just because they're vegans.
Well, what are you talking about doing to them?
No reasoning behind it, just because.
But what are you talking about doing to them? Like,
Just
what are you
because
saying?
just because of what they eat.
No, I'm not asking.
No,
I'm not
no
asking.
reason
I'm
behind
not,
it.
No,
No real reason.
You're
You're a vegan,
confused.
so I'm going to make fun of you for it.
You're just making fun of someone. I don't really think there's anything wrong with making fun of somebody. I think we can all make fun of each other.
So again, just no reason, no particular thing you said upset me, got me all flustered, nothing like that. But just for the simple fact that you are a vegan. Can I question you on it? Can I call you on it? Can I make fun of you? Can I call you out? Can I say you are wrong for being a vegan when I am not a vegan?
I mean, I think you can say whatever you want. I would disagree, and then we'd have a conversation like this. Yeah, I don't have. It's
okay.
like you keep trying to leverage this weird thing. Like you said, tone police earlier, and now you're like acting like I have some problem with
Because
like,
you said you had a problem with my tone with vegans.
What I really mean there, though, is just that I get the vibe that you're not a vegan, and I want to explore your ethics. I thought I was clear about that, and it turns out your ethics support holocausting disabled people, right?
Yeah, because that is exactly true.
Well, that is what you said.
Okay, so if we're going based on just what you said, it's worse to make fun of a vegan, and it happens more often with vegans being made fun of than trans people.
No, that's a bit of a straw man. That's a slight straw man because
you said if people sat down at the table and there was a trans person and a vegan,
that's a slight straw
the
man.
vegan would get it worse.
That's a slight straw man, right? I didn't necessarily say that it's worse, right? It could be that it's more damaging on average to make fun of a trans person than a vegan, and in fact, I think it probably is more damaging on average.
But you said it's more likely that a vegan's going to get.
Right, I do think it's more likely, but that's different than whether it's more damaging.
Okay, so
do you disagree? Well, I would think that you agree with me. Do you think that you agree that you're more likely to get made fun of if you're vegan than trans, right?
I don't know, maybe.
Okay, well, you know what?
I'm not either one of those things, and I don't get made fun of for it, so.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't have empirical data, so I can't really defend that. Like, I think that from my experience, if that's all I really have to go off, it seems like it's more likely that you'll be made fun of for being vegan. But I don't have some empirical data there to show that it's more likely. But just to be clear, I just don't want to be saddled with the claim that it's more damaging, because I didn't say that.
But, well, you did say vegans get it worse than trans people.
Yeah, but what I actually mean when I say that is just that you're more likely to be made fun of. I think that's obvious.
Do you realize that far and away people don't really give a fuck what you eat, who you fuck, what you do, what you have in your pants? Most people don't give a shit about that, but it's acting the way you act that makes people not like it.
I don't see a reason to accept that.
Because you're being a douchebag for no reason. And your whole reason for this conversation is because you are a vegan. And that's what you're trying to push on me. The whole reason you called me into a debate was, and I have the quote here, I don't know your exact position, so you don't know how I feel about veganism. You don't know anything about my position, my thoughts.
Read the rest of the quote. Read the rest of the quote.
I don't know your exact position, but I know it's not veganism.
Correct.
So I don't know what you believe, and I know it's not exactly what I believe. So we're going to have issues. That's pretty much what you said.
Well, it could turn out that you explained to me why some position other than veganism makes sense, right? I want to explore the disagreement.
No, that's not what I'm getting into. What you said was, I don't know what you feel, but I know it's not exactly what I feel, so you're wrong.
No, I didn't say you're necessarily wrong, right? Where does it say that?
You said, I don't know your position, but I know it's not this. So that means I want to grow you.
Yeah.
So just
that's
because
that's
I don't
not
believe
equivalent to saying
exactly
you're wrong,
what you believe, you want to grow me. You realize how that could turn people off to your movement, right?
Yeah, because I don't know what turns people on or off. Like, I'm not really worried about just like fucking optics or something like this. I'm just worried about what's true and what makes sense, and I want to explore the positions of people and people like you who have platforms and make content that, whether you'll acknowledge it or not, does cast a negative light on vegans. I think it's worth exploring what your ethics are, and it turns out they support holocausting disabled people, right? So I just, I like to expose people like you. You could put it that way. There's also other motivations. I just like debating.
Well, I think if this is how we're going to be, I think you're wrong for being a vegan.
What do you mean?
Because it's not my position.
Okay.
Which you still don't know, by the way. You didn't ask. You just assumed it.
Well,
you didn't ask exactly what my position is. And don't try to go, okay, well, now I want to know, because it's way too late for that.
No, I do know, because I spent time figuring it out, right? You think that the trait difference is the ability to create, and you're fine holocausting beings who can't create to a greater degree than animals, like the disabled. That's your position. That's what I'm interested about with respect to your position.
Do you genuinely think disabled people can't create things?
I think that there's disabled people who can't create to any greater degree than a cow. Yes.
Okay, so because there's 2 or 3 people in the world who absolutely can't create anything, don't contribute anything to the world.
Why is it 2 or 3?
You think that means all disabled people?
Sorry,
because it's some minute number of disabled people who are absolutely, like, they can do nothing.
I don't know what.
You're honestly a bad fucking person.
I don't know what it sounds like you're just going for slime tactics, right? I don't know what the exact quantity of disabled people is. Who are incapable of creation beyond the level of a cow.
You say disabled people. Disabled could mean Ricky Berwick. He is objectively disabled. There's no way he's not disabled, but he still creates a lot of things.
Surely it's obvious to you that Surely it's obvious to you that I'm not making a categorical statement about all disabled people. I mean, it's pretty basic, dude.
Okay, but what's the difference?
The difference between
what is the difference between disabled people and Ricky Berwick?
I don't know why you're asking me that. Look, try to follow this, okay? There's a subcategory.
I want an exact number and a dictionary quote of disabled.
There's a I mean, I don't know what the fucking exact definition is, but it's people who are
give me the exact definition. What does disabled means?
Sinatra, you're being a pedant, okay? Look, disabled people
I'll be a pedant.
Disabled people are cognitively impaired, right? In some way or another, and there's some subset of those people who are sufficiently cognitively impaired that they can't create to any greater degree than a cow, right? And I don't think it's fine to Holocaust those people, but you do.
No, I really don't.
Oh, now wait, no, that's a contradiction. You said earlier.
Yeah, what about Stephen Hawking?
No. Those are people.
What about them? They're all significantly, very significantly disabled. Can they? No.
I have patience for your questions, but not when you try to weasel like that. So you just contradicted yourself, right? Now there's been three contradictions so far, right? So the first contradiction was when you said the trait was taste, right? Then you wouldn't slaughter people who are tasty. That's contradiction number one. The second contradiction was when you said I'm a subjectivist, but there's something that's objectively wrong, right? And then the third contradiction is that the trait is the inability to create, yet it's not the case that it's ethical to holocaust the people who aren't able to create. So now we're back to my line of questioning, aren't we, Sinatra? What's the trait? What's true of animals that if true of humans?
The trait that distinguishes
No. See, you don't understand how I work, Sinatra, okay? I'm happy to let you ask questions when you're not dodging a line of questioning. No. I don't humor dodging, right? Slow down. What you said earlier was that the trait is the inability to create, right? So we have disabled people who can't create to any greater degree than a cow. You said it was fine to holocaust those people. You stop. You said it's stop, Right. Now,
Do see
you
this?
said,
You
now,
can just-
now,
you can
now,
push me
now,
into the dirt to
now,
try to answer
now,
specific
now,
what does that
now,
mean? But when
now,
I ask
now,
you specific,
now,
he does not let me do a
now,
word in
now,
edgewise.
now,
See how that
now,
works? You see that?
now, you said that it's the case that if there's a disabled person who can't create, it's fine to Holocaust them, right? Now you're saying that's not the case. That's contradiction number 3, Sinatra. Now, if you're contradicting yourself on that, we're back to the prior question. And you don't understand, by the way, how I operate, okay? I'm fine humoring your questions, but when I ask a question and you try to dodge, or you throw yourself back into the line of reasoning,
Didn't you just
right?
call me a
Or when you throw yourself back into the line of reasoning by saying something that contradicts your prior statement,
thank you so much for the donations. I'll
you
get to them in a minute.
can be damn certain that I'm not going to let you derail. Now, the question is, given that you've contradicted yourself, the trait can't be, unless you're a dialetheist, that it's the ability to create. So what, in fact, is the trait? What's true of animals that, if true of humans, would justify buying their corpses at Whole Foods? We're back to this question now because you contradicted yourself.
What you're asking in a very convoluted term is, what is the difference between animals and humans that makes it okay to buy and eat animals?
Yes.
That we have dominion over them.
Oh, okay. So if we have dominion over other humans, it's okay to Holocaust them?
We don't have dominions over other humans.
Did you not notice that it's a conditional statement? If Sinatra, if we have dominion over other humans, is it ethical to Holocaust them?
We don't. That's not a thing.
That's a dodge. I'm not asking you if it's a thing. It's a conditional statement. Do you know anything about logic, Sinatra? It's a conditional. P implies Q, right? If P is true, Q is true. Okay? I'm asking you, if it's the case that we have dominion over humans, do you say that it's ethical for us to Holocaust them?
You cut out again, what?
If it's the case that we have dominion over other humans, is it ethical to Holocaust them?
No, it's not.
Great! Contradiction number 4.
You know I am fine with contradicting that because I know humans are not animals.
If you contradict it, we're back to the
animals are not the same thing.
Great.
Humans and animals are not the same fucking thing.
One second. Okay, so there's 4 contradictions so far, right? So the first is the trait is taste, right? That produced a contradiction. You wouldn't kill tasty humans. The second was that the oh, now I'm gonna have to remember. You contradict yourself on objectivism also. You said you're a subjectivist and you said you're an objectivist. Then you said that the trait is ability to create, and it's not the case that the trait is ability to create. And then you said the trait, then you said the trait was having dominion, and then you said the trait was having dominion, and now it's not the case, right? That's 4. That is 4 logical contradictions. Now we're back to the prior question yet again. What's true of animals that, if true of humans, would justify buying their corpses at Whole Foods?
I want to know what your definition.
It's not taste. It's not dominion. It's not the ability. It's not the ability. I'm talking about non-human animals. Fucking obviously.
What's your definition of animal?
I'm talking about non-human animals, Sinatra. Okay, we're talking about
non-humans.
I'm going with no. That's a straw man. I don't take the view. That's a straw man. That's a straw man. I don't take the view. That's a straw man. That's a straw man. I don't take the view. I don't take the view. I don't take the view that a rock. I don't take the view that a rock is an animal, right? I just go with the standard biological definition. Okay. Now we're back to the prior. We're back to the prior question, right? Dum Dum, are you able to wrap your head around this? What is true?
Weren't you just complaining about insults a minute ago?
Sinatra. No, as I said, I'm fine. As I said, I'm fine with insults. Now, Sinatra, what is it that's true of animals that, if true of humans, would justify buying their corpses at Whole Foods? It's not taste.
You gave me
it's
the
not.
answer yourself.
It's not taste. It's not creativity. It's not dominion, because you contradicted yourself on all of those.
The answer yourself.
So what is the answer?
Non-humans. You gave me the answer.
Okay, great. So now, if it's the case that all of the humans currently alive, their genes are modified just slightly, so they're no longer members of the human species, but they have exactly equivalent consciousness. They could sit here talking to us, etc. in this Discord. Is it ethical?
But that doesn't exist.
Is it? That doesn't matter. It's an if statement. It's a conditional.
It doesn't exist.
That doesn't matter. It's a conditional statement. Go learn the first thing about logic. P implies Q, obviously, right? Now, if it's the case that we have humans, then they are genetically modified,
it absolutely
then they
does
are,
matter.
then they
It
are,
does
then they are,
It
then they are, then
So
they are,
if you
then
don't
they
answer
are,
this
then they are,
specific
then
question-
they are, then they are genetically modified such that they are no longer qualifying.
louder than
Then
you,
they
therefore
are,
I'm
then they
correct.
are genetically modified such that they are no longer qualifying as.
really
Then
close
they
to my
are
microphone
genetically
and make a piece,
modified.
therefore I'm correct.
Then they are genetically modified such that they no longer count as members of the human species, but they have exactly identical consciousness to the humans currently alive. Is it ethical
If
to
they're not a
pay?
member of the
Is it
human
ethical to
species, they're
pay?
not
Is it
humans.
ethical to pay for their corpses at Whole Foods? Yes or no?
If they're not members of the human species, you answered your own question.
The answer is yes. It's okay to Holocaust your mom's consciousness. That's your view?
You cannot holocaust a consciousness.
Okay, so when we're talking about holocausting, clearly you can holocaust conscious beings, right? You're saying it's ethical
You can
to
holocaust people.
You're
you can
saying
holocaust animals,
you're
you
saying
can
you're
holocaust
saying you're
anything,
saying you're
but not
saying
a
you're
subjective
saying
woo-woo
you're saying
consciousness.
you're saying that it's ethical to holocaust your mother if her consciousness is transmitted into something that's not a human life form. That's your view?
So you're saying that if
It's
my
a
mother's
yes or
consciousness
no question,
was
Sinatra.
transferred into this cup.
It's
that I could throw
no,
this
we're
cup
not. We're not talking.
right?
We're not talking about a cup. We're talking about
How
a
much
being.
money to
We're
a
talking.
woman? I will
We're
leave this
talking
debate
about
for
a
$100
being.
right
We're
now.
talking about a being who is genetically modified so as to be slightly different from a human, but has exactly identical consciousness. So, for example, let's say we
right,
take your
before I
mom.
answer that, I'm
For
gonna need you to
example,
I-
for
I'm gonna
example,
need you
for
to
example,
define
for
consciousness.
example, we take your mom, right, and then we modify her genes just slightly. She's no longer a human, right? Now, her consciousness is still identical. She remembers raising you. She remembers all of that. Is it ethical to Holocaust her? Yes or no?
I'm going to need you to define consciousness.
Subjective experience for the millionth time. Is it ethical to Holocaust her? Yes or no?
Well, cups have a subjective experience. Is it okay to throw cups away?
There's no reason to think that, and you're trying to derail. It's a very slimy
No, this
tactic.
cup is having a
Sinatra,
different experience
Sinatra,
than
I am not interested in the slimy weasel tactics. Okay, the question is
Slimy weasel
the
tactics
question,
coming from the
the
slimy
question,
weasel.
the question,
There
the
it is.
question,
There it
the
is.
question, the question is: if we take your mom, modify her genes so that she is no longer a member of the human species but has identical consciousness, is it ethical to Holocaust her? Yes or no,
Genetically
Sinatra?
modifying something does not make you not part of humans.
Hey, Sinatra.
It's
Oh,
not how that
oh, so you're saying that if we genetically modify her such that she would be a member of another species, she's still a human? That's your view? That would be pretty fucking stupid, wouldn't it, Sinatra? So if we genetically modify her such that she is no longer a member of the human species, right? I'm not claiming that any genetic modification makes someone no longer human. That's a straw man, right? If we modify her genes such that she is no longer a member of the human species, is it ethical to Holocaust her? Yes or no?
Okay, let's just see if I understand this.
Sure.
So if you take my mom's consciousness, download it into a computer,
Nope.
and you put
Nope.
it on a
Nope.
flash drive.
Nope. We just modify. Let's say we could put it into. We just modify her life form, right? We're thinking of a series of possible worlds, okay? And in the first world, we have the actual. We have a human Holocaust taking place, right? We can picture.
Okay.
As we move through that series, right? We can picture an instance where the being holocausted has identical consciousness to your mom, but the biological form that they're in is just slightly altered such that it no longer counts as a member of the human species. Maybe we modify them, they have 6 thumbs or some shit. They're just slightly different. They can't reproduce with us. They're not a member of our species by the biological definition, but their consciousness is identical. It's your mom in there. Is it ethical to Holocaust her? Yes or no for the fucking 7th time?
Well, consciousness does not store memories, so I don't. You're not asking a real question.
When Sinatra, you are a slimy character, my friend. The question, you understand what your mom's consciousness refers to, surely, unless you're incredibly, incredibly stupid. We're talking about her subjective experience, as has been clarified over and over and over again. That includes her memories, everything about her subjective experience, okay? That is now in a being that is not a member of the human species. It's just slightly modified from a human, okay? Now, for the fucking millionth time, you piece of shit, weasel, is it ethical to Holocaust her?
It's not my mom, right?
Is it?
It's not my
It
mother.
It is her consciousness.
But it's not her.
It is her in a different.
Does that mean I don't have my mom anymore?
It is her.
Is that what you're trying to do?
It is her in a different physical form. Is it ethical to a modified being?
Like what? What is a modified being that could hold my mom?
You just modify some traits on a human towards an animal. Give it some fur, maybe give it like a hoof or something like this. It's got your mom's consciousness, though.
Just think about this for a second.
Sinatra.
Horse shit to try to get.
No, Sinatra. It's called philosophy. You fucking idiot. Okay. Now you want to answer the question instead of you want to answer the question instead of dodging. I've asked you repeatedly. Okay. And I know we're headed for contradiction 5 number here, right? So Sinatra, is it ethical to Holocaust her? Is it? Oh, right. Okay. Are you claiming the question's logically incoherent?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Oh, great. Shut up. You claim there's a logical incoherence. Now, shut up. You claim that there's a logical incoherence. Now point out the propositions that form the contradiction.
I think I can take the
What propositions form the contradiction?
Plugging your ears and
what contradiction?
Shut up.
What propositions form the contradiction, Sinatra? What propositions form the contradiction?
The fact that it's not real.
Oh, is that... Hey, Sinatra, Mr. doesn't know the first thing about logic. Do you think contradiction means not real? You fucking moron? Let me give you a lesson about basic logic, okay? So in logic, we have propositions, okay? A proposition is a statement capable of having truth value, like the sky is blue, unicorns exist, Sinatra's a fucking idiot, okay? Now a contradiction is going to be the conjunction of a proposition and its negation. The negation of a proposition is just, it's not the case that, followed by the proposition, okay? Now, you've claimed that my hypothetical, where your mom's consciousness is in a being that has a modified physical structure from a human and no longer wait, shut up! Who's no longer a member of the human species, right? Now, you weaseling piece of shit. The question is, when we have that hypothetical, what is the contradiction? What are the two propositions there that form a contradiction?
What is the difference between...
Sinatra, what's the contradiction? Hey, Sinatra, what's the contradiction?
What is the difference...
Hey, Sinatra, what's the contradiction? Hey, moron, what's the contradiction? Or you can back off the claim that there's a logical problem with the hypothetical. What's the contradiction?
I think the problem is the fact that you're resorting to hypotheticals.
Oh, great. So there's not a logical problem, right? Correct? No logical problem?
The problem is hypothetical. Is there
a logical problem, Sinatra?
We're talking about...
Is there a logical problem, Sinatra?
Okay. So I'm not...
Is there a logical problem? You've made an assertion, okay? You claimed that the I want to know, when you say...
This guy is literally talking.
Sinatra, what is the logical problem with the hypothetical? Is there a logical problem?
Because
and if not, I'm back to asking you. Oh, great. So what's the logical problem?
We're not talking hypotheticals. We're talking about real life.
Do you think that that's a logical problem?
Yes, it is.
Oh, great. So what type of logical problem is that? Is that a violation of identity? Is that a contradiction? What's the logical problem there, moron?
I'm going to need you to define problem.
A logical problem would be something like a contradiction. A logical problem... A contradiction is a proposition and its negation together in a conjunction.
Define problem?
Yeah, a logical problem is going to be any violation of a formal system, okay? That's what we'll say a logical problem is.
Yeah, I think the entire problem is the fact that we're trying to put real-world shit into a made-up world.
Oh, great. Does that violate one of the laws of, for example, propositional logic, Sinatra?
It's pointless.
Oh, great. Does that violate Sinatra? Look, if you want to say there's a logical problem, you have to spell it out, okay? Some people aren't fucking stupid and actually know a thing or two about logic, okay? Now, what is the logical problem? Is there a contradiction?
The issue is
Sinatra, shut up. You stop weaseling. Listen, is there a logical problem?
Well, we're talking about the real world. That's a weasel. This is real. This is all
there, Sinatra, it's like you don't care. It's like you don't care about logic. Listen, is there a logical problem? Yes or no?
Okay.
Sinatra, is there a logical problem? Hello, Sinatra, is there a logical problem? Hello, Sinatra, is there a logical problem? Hello, Sinatra, is there a logical problem? Sinatra, you want to point it out? What's the logical problem?
Nobody is taking you.
Hello, Sinatra, what is the logical problem?
The issue is you cannot.
Hey, Sinatra, I'm asking for a logical. Right, because you're trying to derail and not point out the logical problem. Saying I don't like hypotheticals. Okay, then start your answer by saying what kind of logical problem it is.
Answering like 3 times.
Okay, let's hear it. Is it?
We are way over time.
Okay. Now, Sinatra, what kind of logical problem is it? Is it a contradiction, Sinatra? Hey, Sinatra, is it a contradiction?
It literally is when you're screaming.
Great. So shut up. Now, what is the contradiction? P and not P. Let's hear it. Go for it, moron.
I am really interested to see this go up on your channel.
Hey, Sinatra, what's the contradiction? Hey, moron, what's the contradiction?
Yeah, I cannot do this.
Hey, Sinatra, P and not P. Okay, basic logic, Logic 101. What's the contradiction? Yeah, what's the contradiction? You can. Oh, if you want to actually answer, I would love to hear it. What's the contradiction? Did he leave? Oh, what a fucking idiot. Yeah, and if you like this content, consider supporting on Patreon.